Hey everybody, I'm Scotty J. You are watching Rock Titan Music Television. Guess we have on right now have a brand new album coming out March 16th. Where Owls Know My Name. I am talking with some heavy metal dudes out in Reading, PA, just down the road from me. Rivers of Nile. I've got Adam and Brody with me. Guys, how you doing?
What's up, man? Good.
Hey, you know, it's just another day in paradise. Not much of a winter we're having this year, huh? Not like any snow or anything like that. Not that we're complaining. So
No,
Where Owls Know My Name? Where Owls Know My Name. This is your third full-length album, follow-up from Monarchy. How do you feel about it? You know, so far, what's the response been, and any pre-sales, anything like that? Anything good to report?
I'll go. It's been good so far. You know, we've released 2 singles, and you know, we made some changes on this record sonically, introduced some new elements, and you always wonder how people are going to react to new sort of stuff like that. But both singles that we've put out have gotten pretty good reception, with not too much criticism for the new stuff that we've brought in. So I think we're pretty happy with how things have been going so far.
All right, very cool. Now I noticed that both of you guys are not shy of the camera at all. I saw that the Home that you had done a little bit of stuff with, you know, just kind of showing people how you actually play that song, that particular track. What made you choose that particular song off Where Owls Know My Name versus any of the other tracks you have on there?
Adam,
me, Brody,
whoever. It's a tough song to play on bass, and it's an interesting riff, I think. Kind of classic rock inspired, but a lot faster. So I figured showing people how to play that riff would be interesting for bass players. Yeah, I did a similar thing for Gear Gods as well, but it was for the first single that we did, Silent Life.
Okay.
But then we also did that Guitar World video for a Home. And I don't know, I think we just chose that song because it was not too long. Some of the songs on this record are a little longer. And also because it was just, one of the singles that we would be releasing. So we figured it would be appropriate to use that one for, promotional tidbits before the record comes out.
Okay. Now, in terms of official music videos, because I know you had some off of Monarchy, can we look forward to seeing any new official music videos off of Where Owls Know My Name?
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys already selected which ones you're going to do, or which one you're going to do?
I don't know if we should spoil it, but we did shoot one.
Okay.
Was it like 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
All right.
Well, it should be coming out around the same time as the record. You'll see something.
Okay, so we can look forward to seeing something from Metal Blade Records. They're going to blast that out.
Yeah.
I'll have to hit up Nikki for that. I gotta get my hands on that thing first. I want to see it before anyone else does. Now, do you guys already have a platform for where you're going to be sharing that official music video? Like with Decibel Magazine or, any of these other music media outlets out there? Has that been decided upon?
If it has, I'm not sure what it would be yet.
Maybe we can do it on Rock Titan. Maybe we can do it on Rock Titan Music Television right here. No pressure.
We'll have to see.
I'll hit up Nikki. I'll be like, Nikki, come on now. We got to get this thing going on. But no, it was really interesting. Finally, before I had a chance to talk to you guys, I was actually able to get the entire new album, which is nice because I don't always have a chance to listen to all of the tracks before it's actually released. And again, everybody who's watching right now, we're here with Rivers of Nile, Adam and Brody, and Where Owls Know My Name comes out March 16th via Metal Blade Records. And so I did get a chance to, hear the entire album, which was very, very cool. And I have to say, I'm sure everybody has their favorites, for a variety of different reasons. I actually like the title track. I thought that was really cool how you put the saxophone in there. I got to tell you, I haven't heard a whole lot of death metal with like sax in there, and the way you guys put it together was solid, man. It was really sweet, and just the diversity, from Cancer all the way down to Capricorn. I thought it was, really interesting, the way you guys have changed things up. Obviously, there was a lot more traditional death metal in there, but then there was some in there that it really kind of threw me. Especially with the opening, with Cancer, just with the instrumentals and everything like that. When it comes to the production of that, is there any one of you guys that kind of is the maestro, so to speak, who's coordinating all that? Or is it just a little more traditional where, like Adam, you're doing your bass stuff, and Brody, you're doing your stuff on guitar, and everyone kind of then puts everything together after the fact?
Usually what ends up happening is I will write out pretty much completed songs musically here at my house, and I will record all the guitar parts for the song, and then I'll program out some like rough drum ideas for the song, and then I'll send it off to I'll send it off to the other guys, and they will basically, like Adam will add his own bass parts. Jared will take the drum parts that I've programmed and kind of tweak them to match his style, and then Adam also writes 95% of our lyrics. So
no kidding. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so he'll take the music then, usually later in the process, like shortly before we go into the studio, and he'll do the lyrics for it. So it's like usually it'll start with me kind of punching out a whole song musically at my place, and then sending it out to the other guys, and they kind of tweak the song, tweak their own parts to the song as they see fit.
Okay. Now, are all you guys relatively in close proximity to one another, where you can all practice together and stuff like that? I know that just scheduling-wise, things were hectic just for us to be able to, talk today and whatnot. But do you guys all have the kind of flexibility in your schedules where you're able to, get together and practice and jam out?
Usually before a tour, our drummer lives in Nevada, in Reno.
Okay. All right.
So he'll usually fly in before a tour.
Okay.
A couple days before a tour, or a couple days, before a recording session, and we all get together at my parents' place. They have a nice big finished basement, and cool. We'll practice there. But our other guitar player lives in Long Island, New York. But me and Adam and Jake, our singer, we all live within 20 minutes of each other.
Okay.
But we won't usually end up having like a normal band practice unless there's something coming up, just because of how far our drummer lives from us.
Okay, so basically you wait till it's time to get in the studio or go on tour, and then you guys will sync up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jared's a beast, man. Just listening to him on this album, oh my God. Like I'm playing like the air drums and whatnot. I couldn't even freaking keep up, man. That was, you guys had to be pretty happy with the way that all turned out. Really. Have you had any kind of hype leading into this? Do you have any idea what like the pre-sales with Metal Blade Records been, or anything like that? And again, March 16th, everybody. March 16th.
We're getting sporadic, kind of reports here and there of like what pre-orders are coming through, but and so far they're looking pretty good. We try not to keep it like something that we're checking on a daily basis. Maybe like see like a week after we put like a single out or something like that, to see how things have improved. But so far so good. Everybody's really, really happy with the way that it's being received, and people are pre-ordering it and everything like that.
Yeah. Now, how's the relationship been with Metal Blade? Because I've been really tight with those guys for a while now, and I know that my working relationship with them has always been great. And obviously, you guys have put all three of your LPs out with them, have you not?
Yeah.
Okay, so so everything, since Monarchy, how's that relationship been? And as far as working with, again, Where Owls Know My Name, and just the evolution of your relationship with them over the last, 5-6 years now. How's it been as a whole? How do you like it?
It's been really good. They pretty much picked us up from nothing, and have really kind of nurtured the kind of band that we are today, from something that, you know, I probably, if I were them, I probably wouldn't have dumped thousands of dollars on you know, bunch of nobodies like that. So they've been really cool and supportive and helpful, and you know, they didn't put a lot of pressure on us making this record, which, you know, in the industry they say that your third record is kind of, you know, a linchpin for you oftentimes.
Right.
And they, you know, they just heard a couple demos and they were just like, okay, take your time, and we were stoked about that,
Nice.
you know. And so they've always been really supportive in that way.
Nice. Very cool. Now I want to ask you guys too, just in terms of, like, you know, you alluded to in a roundabout way, you know, where we're all from, you know, like who would have thought, you know, death metal band, you know, from Reading, Pennsylvania goes big time, like Rivers and Nile undoubtedly will. But we got a lot of bands, you know, from out in this neck of the woods, man. Death metal, heavy metal, you know, whatever freaking genre you want to call it. You know, we got a lot of metalheads out here, a lot of good bands. One of the bands in particular, not too far away from you guys, based out of Lancaster, PA, you know, is just nominated for a Grammy this past year, August Burns Red. Have you guys ever crossed paths? Because I know Reading and Lancaster and, you know, even where I am, you know, out in southern Chester County, not too far apart. You guys ever intermingled?
I actually used, in some of my old bands, I used to play in like fire halls with them.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah,
they would open up for your bands, right?
Yeah.
Right on,
Happened
man.
a handful of times. But probably not deservingly.
Well, I don't know about
like, yeah,
that, man. I don't know about that, because where else know my name? I mean, seriously, and I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. I mean, it's solid. You know, top to bottom. Top to bottom. You know, put out a couple of official music videos, like you got one coming up that will not be divulged yet, but I'm going to bother Nikki about that. But I don't see any reason why we couldn't expect to see you guys up for a Grammy next year. 2019. 2019 Grammys. What do you guys think about Mastodon actually bringing it home? Any thoughts on that?
I think it's well deserved. They've been an awesome band for God knows how long. I mean, they've really like bridged the gap from like extreme metal into like what's more like mainstream accessible kind of, you know, pop rock music,
right?
In a way that's pretty meaningful. I honestly would have been happy seeing any of those bands getting a Grammy in that category, because I think all of them, you know, are relevant in their own way.
Yeah. Now, let me just ask you guys. I mean, what do you think about awards in general, you know, being formally acknowledged by the overall community for your work? You guys even care about that, or, you know, you approach everything the same way? I mean, do you ever feel slighted at all when, say, you are nominated for something with other bands and maybe they get, you know, voted upon over you guys? Do you ever take that to heart, like, oh, you know, or you just, screw it, just going to keep doing what I'm doing, doesn't bother me at all?
Music's not really a competition like that. That's not kind of how I personally look at it. I mean, it's cool to win anything, really, like, but it's not what, you know, motivates you to do this.
Well, that's a great attitude, because not everybody's like that, man. Some people get snubbed and they take it real personal, and it's like, oh, I'm better than them, or we're better than them, and, you know, sometimes there could be a little bit of drama. Brody, you got any thoughts on that?
I mean, no. I mean, I kind of disagree with Biggs. I don't really think that music's competition or anything like that. And, you know, I mean, it's cool. You know, I know like Code Orange, they got nominated for a Grammy this year, and
Yep.
they're kids. I mean, you know, like even younger than us, and you know, they've been doing it since they were like 14 years old. You know, and like,
Yeah, right on.
I think seeing something like that is cool, because, you know, you generally think of the Grammys as kind of this like sort of prestigious, like, you got to pay your dues sort of thing to go through the ranks and like make it to that point. But I think the fact that like such a young band like Code Orange, you know, also being from Pennsylvania,
Sure.
seeing them get nominated for a Grammy was a really cool thing, because, you know, I think sometimes people start to think that, you know, like the Grammys in particular are sort of this, you know, fixed sort of like old guy elitist, purist kind of committee, and maybe it is, but I think it was cool, and it was a sign of hope, I guess, for a younger, relatively small band to get recognized for a Grammy. But I mean, we don't care. I mean, about us, like when someone else gets nominated for awards, like it doesn't even cross our minds because we're just doing what we do.
No, man.
We started a death metal band, man. Like we,
Yeah.
Grammys are the last thing on our mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, what kind of influences, have you guys had? What got you guys into, doing what you're doing today? At this point, obviously, we talked about Mastodon. They've been around a long time. Are those guys that, have had an influence on you guys as a band at all? Or what are some of the other bigger metal acts? Any on Metal Blade, for that matter? Is there anyone on Metal Blade in particular that made you guys, that much more enthusiastic about, getting on a label like that?
I mean, like, one of my favorite bands of all time, especially in the death metal realm, has been Cannibal Corpse.
Okay.
And they're Metal Blade forever.
Yep.
And so they're one of the big bands that when we got an offer to work with Metal Blade, that I was just like, damn, like we can be on the same label as Cannibal Corpse. That's
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, so that's a big deal. Black Dahlia Murder is another one that I, used to watch their videos over and over again when they were first coming out, and see the Metal Blade logo at the end of it.
Yeah, Trevor's great. Yeah, those guys are real cool. So, in terms of touring, what can we look forward to? You guys got a whole tour planned out, as we're getting ready to head into the spring season here?
Yeah, we got the Dying Fetus, Thyroid is Murder tour coming up early next month. I got, and it'll be all over U.S., a couple Canada dates.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, look forward. Now, have you guys ever played the Reverb out there in Reading? Is that a place you guys have ever jammed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we need more of them.
Yeah, I mean, we've played Reverb a bunch of times, and a few of us have even worked there as security guards.
Oh, no kidding.
In our off time.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we want to play a big home show, that's usually our bag is Reverb, and then we go out and we will do like a big thing for it. Hopefully soon we'll be able to do a nice big long set there soon. But
yeah, dude, that'd be sweet. Then I can get out there and actually see you guys play live, or actually anywhere in the Philly region for that matter. Actually, Adam, before you had a chance to jump on, Brody and I were just kind of talking about the Philly music scene and just the metal scene as a whole out in that neck of the woods and jamming out there. What do you guys think? It's just some parting thoughts, before I cut you guys loose here and do the rest of your media cycles. What do you think about the state of heavy metal right now? Commercially and just in general.
It's kind of, I don't know, like I think about it, I think it's interesting just like where it's falling in general in relation to everything else in the music industry right now, where it's not so much like there's not one direction your music is coming from. Everybody can go on the internet and find exactly what they're looking for.
Right.
Whereas, 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago, everybody pretty much was on the same bands because you couldn't find, a million different bands that are playing the exact kind of riffs that you want to hear. Like if you want to back when it was first starting out, if you wanted to hear death metal, you were going to hear some thrash metal in there too. It's just a result of the time, really. And then now, if you don't like thrash riffs, you don't have to hear them in your death metal ever,
right?
Because there's going to be somebody out there who's playing exactly what you want to hear,
right?
It's kind of so everybody can have their choice as far as what they want to hear.
Yeah. Now, with you guys, again, because I've noticed you put a lot of videos out there. You seem to be very instructive, in nature. You want your fan base to know what kind of equipment you're using, how to play certain songs and stuff like that. How important do you think that is? You know, because we have the tools that we have now in the media to be able to reach out to, you know, your fan base and everything like that. I don't necessarily see that many bands doing that. They use social media, but not necessarily at like the personal level that you guys seem to definitely be in tune to. You know, do you is that just something that just comes naturally to you? Is that something you just enjoy reaching out to your fans like that, or do you see that as being more of like a real media advertising, you know, business approach? Do you look at that like from a business perspective, or is that just more who you are?
I mean, I think that has a lot to do with the kind of music that we play. I think that most of the people, not most, but a lot of the people that listen to this kind of music are musicians themselves, whereas like in other genres like, you know, country or classical music or, you know, just other genres of music, you know, the vast majority of the fan base, they aren't necessarily musicians, whereas like in the kind of music that we play, it's very like, you know, I mean, it's a musician genre, really, and like
Right.
the kids that listen to the music are interested in hearing about the equipment that the bands that they like are listening to, because they're gonna want to go out and buy that same equipment, you know, and I think that, you know, a lot of equipment companies like that's why you see a lot of equipment companies working with these dudes that play like harder styles of music, you know, like because those are the guys that are on the ground, like working the social media circuit. Like, you know, they have Instagrams that they interact with their fans on, and they have Facebooks that they talk to people on. Whereas, like, you know, you get a guy like, I don't know, Garth Brooks or whatever. Like, he's not gonna like interact with his fans on his Instagram and like
Right.
give them personal advice on what to use and what not to use. Whereas, like, if you have a guy like Misha Mansour from the band Periphery, who's like a flagship when it comes to, you know, marketing equipment. I mean, he talks to people all the time on his social media platforms, and kids listen to what he has to say because he's like not so huge of a name that like he's just this sort of like demigod that doesn't want to, you know, talk to his fans.
Right.
You know, he's like very much on the ground level of this. So I find that, you know, going back, I find that like this kind of music is just like the fans are, most of them play an instrument and they want to know what their favorite bands are using. So I think, you know, it comes natural to us when we talk about that stuff, like with me in particular, because I love that stuff. You know, so it just kind of comes natural. But I think that in this genre, though, it's like just part of it, the gear thing. I mean, because everyone plays an instrument, you know, and they want to use a lot of the same stuff that that their favorite bands are using.
Yeah, no, I just think that's a really cool way to give back, you know, and just as a way, again, to interact with your fans or just other musicians, but just to kind of be so collaborative like that, you know, in terms of what you're doing, how you're doing it, what you're using. I just think that's really cool. So everybody, again, we're here with Rivers of Nile. They've got their brand new album coming out, Where Owls Know My Name, March 16th via Metal Blade Records. And Adam, Brody, guys, thank you so much for your time. And just so everybody knows, where are some of the best places where everyone can go and check you out? Is it Metal Blade Records? You guys got your own website out there, social media? What are we looking at?
We have all the major social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I think the only one that we're not on is Snapchat, but I don't know how to use that anyway.
Me neither.
Yeah, we're on everything. We also have some pretty awesome pre-order packages available right now over on indiemerchstore.com.
Okay.
You can pre-order the record there. We have a bunch of really cool other things that aren't necessarily a record that you can buy along with the record. But yeah, all the major social media sites and indie merch to get the new record.
All right, very cool. All right, well, Brody, Adam, once again, thank you guys so much. Everybody, again, just so you know, Where Owls Know My Name, March 16th. Go check it out. Look at the lower thirds we got here going across the screen. We are here with Rivers of Nile. Guys, thanks again.
All right, thanks a lot, man.
You got it. Later. Thanks again for watching. Please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also catch us at www.rocktitan.tv.